welcome everyone. The speech will be in English with rusty English, okay? Because we have a top VIP speaker from Hostelworld, so she speaks English. So we thought that English would be the best language to start. So forgive my English, of course, because it's very rusty in the last few years. So let's start. The speech will be about hostels, and the basically three topics of the present and the future of hospitality. And hostels are basically the pioneers for these, I think, three topics. So technology, artificial intelligence, and sustainability. Hostels, because of their guest profile, are basically pioneers, and it's easier for hostels to be pioneers for these three strategies. So just very quick presentation. We have Catherine Gilvarry. She's basically every year changing his profile. So this year she is the head of supply EMEA and Americas for Hostelworld and ESG lead for hostels. She works in Hostelworld since about few years.
Don't say.
Okay.
Then
Then we have Annalia Bassi. She is the head of international sales of E&O Hostels, the biggest chain, private chain in Europe. In E&O since 2018, and she's the head of international sales. Then we have Silvia Borsotti. Silvia, she runs an hostel in Lake Garda, but basically I think she's born in hospitality because her family runs few campings, residence and hotels, basically all around Lake Garda, correct?
So in Sardinia and Austria, but basically, yeah, mainly in Lake Garda.
Okay, but you are getting expert in hostels, and it's where you really get fun, correct? Then we have Silvia Moggia. Silvia Moggia is a friend. She's a friend, and she's the marketing strategist consultant for Data Peel. She's a real sustainable hotelier in Cinque Terre, and she doesn't run an hostel, but she's slept in.
I'd love to.
You love to, correct? But you slept in about 100 hostels around the world. So she's getting very expert in that. And then Michele Forchini, the CEO the Arkè Hostels, very big experts in hybrid hospitality. We will see what hybrid hospitality is almost in the end. And I mean, that's it. Okay. He also write on Officina Turistica, which is the blog that Silvia Moggia runs. So we're gonna split in two parts his speech, and the first one is about technology. Technology. We're gonna start from Hostelworld. What does Hostelworld do for hospitality in technology, and what's Hostelworld? Not everyone knows what's Hostelworld. Everyone knows what Booking.com is.
Hope everybody knows what Hostelworld is. Can I drive the clicker?
You can.
Over here. Okay. I'm actually going to come over here so I can see my slides, if that's okay. I'll just stand here. Yeah.
Sorry.
So who has heard of Hostelworld? Okay, a few. Who here has stayed in hostels? A few. Okay, so Hostelworld is originally an Irish company founded in 1999, and it's an online marketplace for hostels. So we are a niche OTA focusing specifically on the hostel sector. We work with 16,000 properties in 182 countries. So we book all nationalities into hostels in all markets. We have a very, very young audience. So 80% of our customers are aged between 18 and 35, and a similar amount book shared accommodation. So when we say shared accommodation, we're talking about dorms, but not necessarily the dorm image a lot of people have in mind of old. These are, you know, anything from 2, 3, 4 bedded rooms and beyond. And again, because we have a young audience that are quite vocal and like to share their opinion, we have a really high volume of customer reviews as well. So 14.1 million. I think, can't remember the structure of the slides. So there are a lot of unique attributes to the hostel category, but we very much see the hosteling category as facilitating traveller connections. So our travellers are young, they primarily travel solo, so 2/3 travel solo. They visit several destinations on a trip. So if you think of somebody backpacking around Southeast Asia or Latin America, for example, 70% of demand is booked within 7 days of arrival. So it's very last minute. Because of that, a huge portion of our bookings are on the app. And these customers are making multiple trips per year. And from the time they enter the Hostelworld ecosystem, they're staying with it for up to 10 years. The key point, and it'll kind of become apparent why I'm doing this build up for technology, is they're using hostels as a means to meet other people. So they're traveling solo, not because they want to be alone. They're traveling solo because they want to do what they want when they want. And ultimately they're booking hostels because they want to meet other travelers like them. Then, because some of you are not as familiar with hostels, they're largely independently owned businesses. So about 80% are independently owned. We do have some large chains. We have one on the panel, one of the largest. We've seen some consolidation, but for the most part, independently owned. They offer dorm rooms, as I said, private rooms in large communal areas. And really important to the next few slides, they offer a ton of events, excursions, experiences. So when you think about solo travelers looking to meet other people, the amount of kind of experiences and events hostels have to offer, you can kind of see where I might be going with this. So our mission as a business is to help travelers find other people to hang out with. That's what we're focusing on. So we're taking these solo travelers and matching them up with travelers that we think they might like to hang out with. I can't remember the layout. Yeah. So during the pandemic, like almost every business in the room, I'm sure, we kind of had to take a step back, look at what we were doing as a business and establish how we could differentiate. So you mentioned B.com. We're not B.com. We are a small OTA. And we very quickly realized that if we wanted to...
B.com.
Yes, we don't say the full word in our house. So we realized that if we wanted to compete, we couldn't just be another OTA. So again, we looked at what was unique about our customers. We realized they're booking hostels to meet other people, and we started to think about what that might look like. And here's where the technology kicked in. We started to, obviously we knew the bulk of our travelers were booking on the app. They wanted to meet other people. So we started to look at social features that we could build. So we are a technology company. We were born in technology, but this is kind of taking it to the next level. So building features that would allow customers who are booking a hostel in Florence, for example, to connect with other travelers in that hostel before they got there, to join city chats, to kind of start to foster these their real life connections, but start them before they left for their destination. And we obviously know that the hostels have all of these experiences where people want to hang out. So then what that has resulted in is a lot of recommendations from these solo travelers to their peers in all of the other social channels to tell them how great these features are. You know, there's quite often fear and, you know, anxiety about what might happen. Whereas if you know who's staying in your hostel, you've been chatting to them, you've arranged maybe to do something with them, then, you know, that's where we start to see these naturally come back into the hostel ecosystem. But the technology piece is really that chat and that link ups piece, that little purple icon, and that link ups piece is customers creating events. So for example, I might say, I'm going to go for a run along the river in the morning, who wants to join? And then hostels creating their own link ups where people can arrange to meet other travelers there. So I've talked a little bit about link ups. This chart really is just showing the growth of the amount of link ups hostels are loading for customers. So that far bar is when we launched link ups for hostels. So where hostels can surface all of the great things they're doing, and guests from 14 days before they arrive at the hostel, they can engage in chats, they can join link ups. And the key thing is this is really where we wanted to set ourselves apart. You don't get access to this until you make your booking. So as I said, we realized our customers are not just looking to book a bed. This is much more than that. And this is starting them out on that experience of meeting other people.
It's basically the difference between hotels guests and hostels guests.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So kind of moving, and I'm merging my technology and AI piece. What we now have is what we believe to be a different kind of travel product. So for most people, well, for me looking at this, so this is a link up. I see we've drinks at sunset, I see a date, I see a venue, I see they're free. But for somebody who's specifically looking to meet other people, they see these avatars. They see who's staying at the hostel, who's going to an event, what nationality they are. We're starting to surface a lot more attributes there. And despite the fact that these look like three identical events, they're going to attract three very different kinds of people. So from an AI perspective, we've really quickly started to realize that there's a ton of variations for all of these events. So we've started to survey customers to see how they're using it. So for example, on a scale of 1 to 5, how likely are you to join an organized trip? And we can see for solo and 2 traveler groups, it's pretty much the same. But if you ask if the other travelers are the same, if they want travelers the same age as them, the solo travelers over-index their nationality. It's quite different. 2 groups of 2 or more prefer to know what nationality is going to be on a trip. And when you start to marry all of this data, and these are very, very simple questions, you very quickly realize you're going to have a monumental amount of data that you need to analyze to surface the right product to the customers. So that's where we are going to start building this AI-powered portfolio. There's supposed to be some animation here, but if any of you are Netflix users, you'll recognize a lot of the approach. People we think you'd like to hang out with. Based on your recent walking tour, you might like to try this. People are places we think you'd like to go based on who else is going. So up to now, as I said, we've been asking questions about intent. Now we're kind of going to ignore what people say they're going to do and look at what they're actually doing, take all of this data and eventually surface a really personalized experience where when you're booking Lorenzo's hostel, you're going to be with the people that you want to hang out with, doing the things that you want to do. And all of that is unlocked by a Hostelworld booking. Therefore, the differentiation from the other OTAs. And then falling out of this, we're bringing in new customers to the category because they're seeing these link ups and seeing, a hostel is more than a hostel. I'm flying through these because I know I'm stealing other people's time. The key point here is we're not just growing bookings, we're growing bookings into the overall hostel category by 11%. We're growing them into Hostelworld. So hostel category is all hostels booked across all OTAs and direct. We're growing it faster on our platform, and where we're looking at social members specifically, we're growing it exponentially. So already we can see that this new approach is really working. And the last point, and this is probably more important for all of the accommodation providers, is that where we deliver guests that are booking into these events, and this is from a survey just from 2 months ago from 1,000 of our hostels, they're telling us guests leave higher reviews, they interact more with other guests, which is the dream for a hostel, somebody running a hostel, and they also spend more, which is the other dream. So delivering the right type of customer.
And the reputation goes higher. The reputation goes higher as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have seen it in Trieste. As soon as we start to do events and everything, so basically the link ups in Hostelworld, we are getting better and better reputation. So,
Yeah. And it's like my sense is, and we're starting to see it, that the link, and this is the direction we want to go in, the link ups at the hostel will become what people are looking at. The people that they can see at the hostel. Yes, reviews will still be important, but there's all of these other more personalized attributes that will make it much more enticing.
Sure.
Right, I'm done.
thank you.
Thank
Don't
you.
worry. Okay. So Annalia, what is the technology that A&O is using in his hostels? Then you said also that A&O will open a new hostel in Florence, 500 beds, which is small for you. Usually you have about
Actually, we have 800 beds per
800,000 beds. Okay, so what is doing for artificial intelligence?
Sarah, first of all, I will start with the same questions made by Catherine. So how many of you knows A&O hostels? Okay, not good. So just few words about A&O hostels. It's the biggest private hostel chain in Europe. We have 40 properties. The headquarters is in Berlin. And in Italy, we currently have one property in Mestre and one opening soon in May 2024.
So it's going to be the second in Italy? No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the second.
Okay.
A&O is owned by an American investment company called TPG, but our founder is also still the owner of the company. I've listened before to the speech that was here, and yeah, I totally agree that we should be very careful when we handle artificial intelligence, and we talk about artificial intelligence, especially in the hospitality industry, where the human relation is still very, very important. However, artificial intelligence and technology is a big help for us. First of all, in the communication with our guests, it makes the communication smoother, faster, and of course also help to improve the guest experience itself. For example, on our website, we have available a chatbot, but also we have voice bot and virtual assistants. For example, the chatbot that we have on the website allows to guests or potential guests to have very quickly some answer instead of going through the call center or searching for the FAQs on the website. But the goal is also to have in the chatbot, and this is something we are working on, and we're planning to have it next year available. Also, the possibility to book directly a room through a chat. We have installed, when it comes to more to technology, this is not really artificial intelligence, but in all our properties, self check-in. And we have also an A&O app, which allows guests not only to book rooms, but in some properties also to create a digital card to access to the room. Artificial intelligence helps also when we talk about reviews, because it gives a full overview of the area where we should take actions, but also help us to promptly and properly answer to the customers. Our marketing department is using also artificial intelligence to target better the customer. We can get many information about the user profile, and this way we can really address the right message to the right person. At the moment on our website, for example, the tone of voice is changing and adapting based on our customer visiting the website, but the goal also is and we're working on it to create specific product recommendation. Of course, we also use it for Google AdWords, social campaign on Instagram, for example, and it's also very useful for the text optimization, not only on the website, but also for the, for example, B2C newsletters, and also another department that is like experiencing many benefit from artificial intelligence is the revenue department. With the artificial intelligence, you can get useful insights about the market condition, about the competition, about the user behavior, and this allows to, of course, optimize the price distribution.
As far as you know, are you using a software for dynamic pricing?
Yeah.
I did myself in a small hostel, so I think.
Yeah, we use Pace and
which one?
Pace.
Okay.
And and last but not least, and it's something we will talk also later, is the energy efficiency. So artificial intelligence also give us good good feedback and alerts whenever we see that we should try to save energy, and yeah, the energy consumption are too high.
Yeah.
So this is.
Fine, thank you, Annalia. So I just wanted to read this quote that the CEO of Virtuoso Travel. I just read it like an hour ago. He said, "Automates the predictable to humanize the exceptionally." I think is the best quote ever, because AI gives you the opportunity, Silvia, to put the guest, you know, I mean, to give the important to the guest, and to basically automize what basically not the real hospitality. Correct?
Yes. Automation, technology, digital innovation, AI are human-based tools that humans need to leverage in order to improve social relationship. I'm really convinced about this. Using automation, selecting the right tool, of course, according to your target, your management, your leadership mindset, it's essential. First of all, to save time. Saving times means you have more times for your guests, to develop a true relationships with them, to really welcome them, to really become the hospitality accommodation you have in mind. So to me, technology is not for technology's sake. Innovation is not for innovation's sake. It's for human to improve their lives. Of course, you have to select the right kind of automation, the right kind of technology, the one that suits your needs. And even beyond that, I would say the one that suits your guests' needs, because we don't all welcome the same kind of guests. We don't all receive the same people coming from the same market, having the same mindset and the same culture. So it's important to select tools that helps you improve your relationships with each one of them.
And doing a great job with the colleagues, because sometimes they are not.
And then, of course, saving times means that you have more time to study, to keep up to date, to form your staff, to have your staff perform better.
Yeah.
It's a matter of working better.
Absolutely. So, Silvia Borsotti, what you are doing for technology in hostels?
Yes, so I totally agree with Silvia Moggia, because I'm a small hostel. I'm not a very big chain. So my hostel is in Lake Garda also, it's not in a big city. I have 200 beds, so I don't have a budget to strongly invest in AI. But I had this European funding from the PNRR for digitalization, and I used them to save to save time for proficiency, to have more time to invest on my guests. And so I did very small things. I mean, for very big change, these are maybe they did it a few years ago, but I'm doing them right now. I implemented a mobile-based door opening. In this way, when the guests come, I don't have to waste time to explain them how to do the check-in, to give them the key, but I can welcome them and explain them the area and explain them all the things they can do in the area and to meet other people. And I'm investing now some fund on other AI improvements, like the WhatsApp chat with my guests. I'm studying to improve, the hyper personalization, because I really want to satisfy.
To have the right guest in your hostel.
Exactly, because I don't have so many data like the big chain, so I cannot do so many things with AI, like in studying data and so on. But I want to understand what the guests want. So I decided to do this by talking with the guest and doing the right question to the guest, and just understand when the guest is in front of me, which kind of guest he is. And in this way, just give them the right suggestions and such on. So, I mean, I don't study the data of the past, but I just study the data of the present. Because I don't have so many data in the past.
Sure. Michele, you love technology.
Yeah, I manage a really small chain of small hostels. For me, small hostels. When I say small hostel, I mean less than 60 bed per hostel. And the technology is the key, to manage and contain costs. So not only the time, contain the time, but also contain the cost. In the small hostel, this is a really important thing. And I give you a quick.
You can see that you're a real manager that thinks about the cost as well. So,
Yeah,
but it's okay.
Yeah. And I give you an example. On our hostel on the Lake Iseo, in the last 4 years, we increase more than 50% the arrival and the stays. More or less, the number are the same. But fortunately, we don't need to expand the staff. For us, the staff is a very serious thing. So we work in the right way, with the right contract. And when we add a new staff member, for us, we work in the right way. And with technology, we can contain the cost, but we increase the arrival and the stay. And how did we do it? With the technology, of course, but 5 very quickly point. The Golden Trio make our base. Golden Trio for us is the classic PMS, channel manager, and the booking engine system are the base. But also we are started to use the artificial intelligence in all the back office process, like customer relation, like big data analysis, like the social media planning. And another very important thing for us is the digitalization of the payments. In this moment, we accept more than 30 type of digital payments. And in 2 years ago, we was the first hostel on ScalaPay, the first Italian unicorn, buy now, pay later system. So, we are a small chain, small hostels, so the use is not also of the IE is not very frequent, but we know also for us this is the way.
Thank you. So the other topic we know since already few years is the sustainability. Also, friend of Catherine said that sustainability is shaping the future of travel, correct? So, Silvia first, what did you do? Because I know that you are a real sustainable hotelier. What did you do to become real sustainable hotel in Cinque Terre?
So first of all, this is the topic of the present, not of the future.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Since few years already.
It's about doing the right thing. It's about purpose and values, and they are essential also to attract and retain the right guests. But even more than that today, they are essential to attract and retain workforce. You can't do without it, and it's more and more important. Tourism has really significant impact as per sustainability, but I'm convinced it also has a huge transformative power. So I decided to go all in for it already 5 years ago. The first step is mindset. It's about leadership. You have to be convinced it's the right thing to do, that it is about doing the right thing for you and for the people around you, for your community and for your staff. So it's about a decision at first. And then you have to set priorities and go for it step by step. I started with waste reduction in 2018. By 2019, we went completely plastic free. It was actually the biggest challenge. Looks the easiest, but it was really a huge thing to do because the boutique hotel I run it's a very popular destination, but it's a tiny community, it's a tiny territory. So we don't have access to lots of providers. So the biggest thing was to find a replacement for every set of stuff we had plastic to replace it. So that wasn't easy, but we succeeded at the end of the first year. Then we went for the local suppliers, selected only local suppliers, only organic food, only 99% organic soaps, shampoo, body lotion, stuff like that, toothpaste, toothbrush. That was a big challenge also. In the meantime, we start working with the local community, donation to local charities, partnership with national charities I care about, because again, it's like digital and innovation. It has to be your own values, your own purpose. So don't go for a popular charity, for a popular partnership just because it's well known. It has to be something you care about. So that's what I did. And the following steps 2 years ago, I decided to save energy, electricity, gas. We switched to different hardwares in order to save it, save water. The first thing was to work with our guests to change their mindset, to have them care about it. And last year we replaced all the shower heads with digital shower heads showing you real time the temperature of the water you're using, how much water you're using, how this convert to carbon emission. And in order to visualize it and made it clear to everybody, the digital shower head shows you ice in Antarctica, the impact you're having with that shower. I wasn't sure about this. I found it really cool and good looking, but I wasn't sure about it. Actually, it really worked. It really has an impact. And most of our guests ask for it at the checkout, and they want to know where to buy it, to have it in their own home, especially when they have kids. And then the really last step at the beginning of this season was offsetting the carbon emission we really couldn't avoid. And so I reach out to an organization I really think they're doing a good job. It's Sustainable International Travel. Actually, Paloma, the CEO, will be here tomorrow in all one in the morning. I reached out and we found a better solution. We measured and monitor all our emission. And we discussed what was the best way to offset them. And again, I picked project that I care about, that I trust. And this is where I start offsetting. And just to anticipate one of your question, I also went for a certificate. There are plenty, there are too many, they are all different. So about that, I didn't think it was essential. It was essential for nobody, not even my guests, but it was important to have at least one. So I started with one, and the selection was commercial based. So I looked for the best and well-known for Scandinavian markets, which is my target, my main target. And this is how I selected it.
So beside the energy saving, sustainability is still expensive, correct?
Actually, it was very expensive the first 2 years when I started replacing plastic and local supplier, because that's more expensive than what I used to do before. True. When I start the whole process now, actually, I'm saving money. I'm saving money because my bills really lower.
And I think you get a higher spender.
Yes, the revenue increase also. And for the first time this season, almost all our reviews mention responsible tourism and our sustainable mission. So I'm very proud and happy about that. And we have a very good feedback. And also we are attracting the right guests. I mean, the right guests for me.
That you like. So, Hostelworld, you are getting very expert in sustainability, and you are basically the person for ESG, correct, in Hostelworld. So you have some data in. That's it.
Yeah, I'm going to skip through some of this.
You like to keep this one, right?
You can drive this.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got the power. It's so interesting listening to Silvia because everything you've said. So I'm not going to talk about what Hostelworld does as a business. I'm going to talk about what we do for our hostel partners because, as Lorenzo said, we have an ESG committee in the business, but I represent the voice of hostels essentially, and it's to address all of these things. So, you know, the millennial Gen Z cohort is the largest traveling cohort on the planet, but they're also the most sustainable conscious. That's, you know, looking at what our customers want when they're booking travel. They want to travel more sustainably, and they consider hostels to be the most sustainable travel option because of all of the great things that you guys are putting in place and a ton of inherent benefits because the way hostels are structured, lower carbon emission, lower waste, lower water, lower plastic, lower bedding, all of this. So all of that good stuff is happening. All of the hostels on this panel are very consciously doing that and, you know, a lot more progressed, but there's a ton of our 16,000 hostels that don't even know where to begin and don't even know how much good stuff they're actually doing. So, you know, when we look at all of the inherent benefits that are obvious to us, we wanted as a business to kind of showcase some of them more officially, produced a report showing carbon emissions of hostels versus hotels to start to, I suppose, make a bit more noise in the public arena about how sustainable hostels were. So what we then discovered was that a lot of the bodies, including the one that we had joined, which is the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, had this broad stroke view of the world, and it was hotels. And everything that they did had hotels in mind, and the nuances of a hostel sector weren't front and center. Then there's all these like various certifications, various bodies. It's an absolute minefield. So when we talk to our hostels, so about 60% said they were doing something in the area of sustainability. Another 30 said they wanted to. They didn't know where to begin. They have tiny teams like you guys. They have very small budgets. They're the lowest price point when it comes to accommodation. So they look to us, I guess, for support to start, to help them measure, manage. We worked with the Global Sustainable Tourism Council to make them realize that hostels were different. And long story short, and 5 slides later that we don't need to show, we've produced a framework specifically for the sector, which means hostels now have, under the GSTC criteria, there's 4 pillars. So they have sustainable management, socioeconomic, cultural and environmental, and they'll start to measure themselves against the various criteria, but they're tweaked so that, you know, the water saving measures are relevant for the sector, or all of the, as I said, the inherent benefits are picked up there too. So that's about to launch in the next few weeks. That means hostels can measure, improve. It's a journey of continuous improvement, but also surface what they're doing to the customers to help the customers make that informed choice. Because it's back to what I talked about earlier, but also what Silvia said. There are, I think, around 70% of our customers who are consciously looking for sustainable options. So now they'll be able to see them. And for the hostels who don't think they're doing anything or want a little bit of help along the way, that framework will be there to guide them as well. So that's all of the slides condensed into.
Correct to say that hostels are they have easier life to become sustainable than hotels. What do you think?
Well, it's funny. So I spoke to your colleague who we were chatting about their sustainability lead, a very direct Dutch living. So he says what he has to say. And he said, hostels by accident or design are more sustainable because of cost saving measures. So when we talk about it being more expensive, and even Silvia's story is what we're trying to elicit from hostels that are doing that, to tell other hostels, this isn't going to cost you more. In the end, you'll save more, you'll get the guests that you want. But for A&O, he joked, he said, well, if they're cold, they can close the window, and if they're hot, they can open it. And like, it's very blunt and direct, but the reality is it's easier because of these cost saving measures. It's easier because you might have 10 people in a room. It's easier because there's less toiletries, bedding, there's more time, showers. That's easier. But then you go back to the other side where it could be a team of 2 people in a jungle in Colombia trying to be sustainable. So it works both ways. But certainly having this framework to at least surface things that they don't even realize and let them know they're already, because sometimes it's about starting. Like you don't know where to start, but if you realize you've already started, that's a positive. So
yeah,
that's 2 years of work in 3 minutes to get a framework out the door.
So AO is getting a goal 2025, I think, and in Venice, Mestre is going to be the first one in Italy. Annalia, sorry.
The first hostel in Europe.
In Europe, okay, to have ESG.
No, to have certification level 5. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will tell you more later. So as Silvia said, sustainability is now. And I think we should also mention that hostels have really a big responsibility. At A&O, 30% of our customers are school groups. And it's very important that hostels are sustainable and green and educate customers and educate guests and educate travelers. So at A&O, as you said, we have this big mission, which is to be the first European hostel chain to be net zero by 2025. We have already reached a good point. We have a 3.73 CO2 emission per night per overnight per stay, and in 2017 we had 9 kilo per overnight per stay. The goal is to go below 3 and to compensate the rest of the CO2 emission. But which action did we take or are we taking to reach this ambitious goal? First of all, talking about energy conservation, we strive to have the 100% of green energy across all the properties that we have. At the moment, we're already at a good point. Just a couple of properties don't have 100% of green energy. We have a solar panel in 8 of our properties, LED lighting system across all the properties we have. When we talk about water consumption, since 2016, we saved 115 million liters of water, installing in all our properties dual flush system and low flow shower head. Of course, we encourage through marketing campaigns our guests to reuse their towels, and our housekeeping is also using free chemical product to avoid the water pollution. Sourcing policy is also a very important topic. Is also challenging because it relies on third parties, on other suppliers. At A&O, we try to, of course, give priority to local suppliers, and this is also the goal, to have local suppliers across all the portfolio. So sorry.
Green mobility as well. So
yeah, no, but sorry, but I want to talk about the sourcing policies, but I missed the. So the goal is to have local providers overall in all the properties, and talking about waste management. Unfortunately, this is a big topic in the hospitality industry. There is still a lot of waste, and talking about this, switch from a single-use dispenser, single-use plastic dispenser to bulk dispenser. And we also work with the Recap, which is a German company who sell us reusable cups that we can give to our customer for a small deposit. There are many things, as you can see, to talk about. Green mobility is also something we encourage our guests to travel green. We encourage our employees to travel green. It's covering the public transport.
By communications, by marketing, by how do you do that?
Yeah, by marketing, of course, through B2B, B2C newsletter on our website, attending events, but also, for example, in our property in Berlin, we have on every floor some wallpapers that shows and educate guests on how to travel green, and we at A&O covers also the cost of public transportation. We have a collaboration with the South Pole, which is a company that offers digital services to offset the stay. And thanks to this, our guests can pay a small fee and offset their overnight stay at A&O. And last but not least, our commitment to green is widely recognized with the certification. As you mentioned, we have the Green Sign certification in Venice, but first of all, we have it in all the properties across the A&O portfolio. We reached recently level 4 Green Sign certification in our properties in Austria, Vienna, Salzburg, and Graz, and 2.5 weeks ago we reached level 5 in Venice, which is the highest level reachable. And we are not only the only hostel to have it, but we are among the 3%, if I'm not wrong, of the hotels that have this level 5 certificate.
So huge mission, because 2025 is tomorrow, basically.
Yeah, exactly. 2025.
Silvia, what are you doing in Meet Hostels?
Yeah, this year we have installed a solar panel, and that was our biggest challenge because now we are totally energy independent during the day. And we ask our guests to help us doing this. So we ask them not to use in the washing machine during the night, to do the shower preferably during the day. And in this way, we achieve this goal, and it was really, really important. Then we also do water saving measure. We put water reducer in sinks, showers, and bidet, and we save up to 80% of the water. This was also a very, very nice goal we reached. We did a guide homemade by us, where the guest can plan his trip only by bikes. So he can visit all the lake by bike, by ferry, and by bus. And we do all this kind of trip for them, and we offer them a discount on the public transportation and bike rental. We communicate with guests, all this stuff. We suggest them actions. We minimize food waste. So we organize every night, a dinner for guests. And we use or kilometer zero food, or we use the food that the guests who left before, who did already check out, left in the kitchen, that maybe they are still closed, they are still perfect, but nobody will use them because they left. So we will use to offer dinner to the guest. So yeah, the time is running, so I will.
Michele, very quick.
Okay,
What are you doing?
I'm super fast. Our hostels are outside the city, so sustainability for us is in our DNA. So also in the small hostel we have a sustainability program. The most important is the zero waste program. It's not easy. But for example, from this year, we have say goodbye to the single-use item, not only in the room, but this is from the first day in the room, but also on the buffet. I repeat, is not easy also for the cost, because the hostel work also is with a very, very, very difficult balance. But this year we reach this result. We are actively working to eliminate the plastic, and also we work to increase the recycling. In this moment, we are more or less close to 90%. Of the entire waste. In Bergamo, we are very, very, very lucky for these things, because since when we was child, these things it's learned by school, and so recycling for us is really important. But I want to share a second vision, for me really important. For us, or especially for the small hostels, sustainability is not only about the environment. It's also it's about working to enhance the local community in which we operate our hostel. What I mean, there is a link between local community and the small hostel, because especially if the small hostel are located in the small town, like for example our hostel, one is on the Lake Iseo and one is in the medium of the Valseriana Valley, in a very small village. The hostel are not only a place where you can go to sleep and stay for holiday, but it's also a place where the locals can find what I can say. It's not easy. It's a different way to intend these things.
A state of mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to share this one, because working in hostel is cool as well. and profitable. So for contractors as well. So that's how I wanted to finish this speech. Okay, thank you everyone. Grazie, grazie di essere rimasti
Thank you
qua.
so much.
Thank you.